Hey guys, you're welcome back to my channel today. Thank you so much for stopping by. In this video, we'll be sewing this very beautiful dress that you can see on your screen. In my last video, we drafted out the pattern. In this video, we are going to be sewing it. So if you've not seen the pattern drafting tutorial, I'm going to leave the link in the comment section, so go ahead and watch it before you come join us on this one. It's going to help you understand better. So I've gone ahead to place my pattern paper on my fabric. Okay, and I went ahead to cut, and I added half an inch all the way around this part, the fabric. The only place I didn't add half an inch allowance is on the side, because we already have our seam allowance on the pattern paper. So we're going to start with the front. I'll first of all remove my pattern paper, and I'm going to open it up for you guys to see. The center front is on fold. I have one piece for the main piece. I have one lining piece. I also went ahead to cut out my stay exactly as the main piece and the lining piece. So I'm going to open the center front up, and this is what it looks like. The lining looks the same and the stay looks the same. So what I'm going to do is to iron the stay to the wrong side of this fabric. Before I do that, I'm going to go ahead and cut out my wadding, because I want to pad this dress. But if you don't want to pad it, you can just go ahead and iron your stay to it and then go ahead and sew. But I'm cutting a wadding, so this is the wadding I'll be using. So what I'll do is to fold my wadding into two. As you can see, I'll also fold my fabric into two. Okay, then I'm going to place my fabric on the wadding. So once I fold my fabric into two, I'm going to go down from the neckline, that's the neck depth, that V neckline, by about 1 inch. So I'll split this wadding open because I want to use it for both the front and the back. So guys, what I'll do is to go down by 1 inch from the neck depth, because I don't want the wadding to reach the neck depth, because I'll be turning the fabric with the lining, and I don't want it to affect it. So I'll go down from the neck depth by 1 inch, as you can see, and then I'm going to place the fabric on the wadding from that 1 inch. Okay, and then I'll figure out where my under bust is, because that's where the wadding is supposed to stop, which is 3.5 inches upward. I'm also going to mark that. After doing that, I'm going to go ahead and cut. So pay close attention so you understand what I'm doing. So because I'm going to turn my lining and my main fabric together, and I don't want the wadding to affect it. That was why I went down by 1 inch from the neck depth, just so when I sew my lining, everything is going to lay flat. And then I measured where my under bust line is, because that's where I want my wadding to stop. So I'm going to now cut from the under bust upward, following the shape that I have on the side. So don't forget that the folded edge of the wadding and the folded edge of your main fabric is where you're going to place together. So I'm going to go ahead and trim out what I have, and I'll show you guys what it looks like. So guys, this is what it looks like. This is where my wadding is going to sit. So make sure the wadding is 1 inch away from your neck depth. Okay, so after cutting this out, I'm going to now place my stay to cover it up, and I'm placing the shiny part of this wadding on the fabric, so that when I iron it, it's going to stick to the fabric. I'm also going to go ahead and place my stay on it, as you can see, and then I'm going to go ahead and iron everything flat. For the side fronts, guys, I have 2 pieces for the main piece, and I have 2 lining pieces. I also went ahead to cut out my stay just like I did for the front. So I'm going to keep the lining piece, and we're going to cut out our wadding for the side front. So what I'll do is to fold my wadding into 2. Okay, after folding it, I'm going to now place the curved part of this main fabric. So just look at what I'm doing. I'll place it like this and I'll make sure it stops at the under bust line, just like I did before. I want this wording to stop at the under bust line and I don't want it to get to the armhole, so it should be at least 1 inch away from the armhole area, and then trim exactly what you have out. After doing that, this is what I have. I'm just going to cut it a little bit because it's looking too big. So after cutting out, this is what I have. I'm going to go ahead and place the shiny part of the wording on the wrong part of my fabric. Okay, after doing that, I'll cover it up with my hairstay and I'll go ahead and iron everything flat. So guys, I've also gone ahead to cut out my back piece and I added half an inch to the base. I also added half an inch to the shoulder area. Okay, I already have my stitching allowance on the side and I already have my zipper allowance, so I didn't add any allowance to those areas. I have two main pieces and two lining pieces. So what I'll do is to place them right side facing right side, and I'm going to go ahead and sew. I'll sew on the neckline, on the zipper area, on the armhole area and on the side, and I'll turn it over through the base. So I'm joining the armhole area because this top is more like a sleeveless top, so we need the armhole to be closed. So I'm going to sew all the way around and I'll turn it inside out through the base. So guys, after ironing the wording and the hairstay in place, this is what it looks like. Okay, so what I'm going to do now is to place them right sides facing right sides. Okay, and I'm going to sew. Go ahead and sew with the half an inch allowance that you left while drafting. Okay, remember when we placed it on our fabric, we added half an inch all the way around, so we'll be using the half an inch to stitch the bra cup area. So place it like this and then follow the shape that you have on the fabric and sew all the way. After sewing, guys, this is what I have. I also went ahead to iron the seam allowance open just so everything stays flat. So this is what it looks like inside and this is what it looks like on the outside. So go ahead and give it a good press. So guys, next now is to trim out this armhole and make it the size that I'm working with. Okay, so go ahead and trim it off. If you measure it and it's not your size, go ahead and trim it a little just so it's your size. So after confirming that is the size, what I'm going to do now is to go ahead and join my lining piece exactly how I joined the main fabric. Okay, after doing that, I'm going to also iron the seam allowance open. So for the back, I've gone ahead to use my lining piece to turn it all the way around and I went ahead to iron it flat. The next now is to take my dart. So I'll first of all go out by my zipper allowance. Remember, I took half an inch away from the 1.5 inches on the waistline while I was drafting. So I'll take out the 1 inch, which is my zipper allowance for the waist area. From that point, I'll go out by half of my nipple to nipple measurement, which is 4 inches. I indicated the 4 inches and I went down by 11 inches, which is 1 inch away from my bust point. I connected into a straight line. After doing that, I'm going to take half an inch on both sides of this straight line. Okay, remember the dart we took while we were drafting was 1 inch, so half an inch plus half an inch is 1 inch. So I'm going to go ahead and connect like this. After doing that, I'll repeat the same thing for this other side. So I'll go out by 1 inch on the waist area, which is my zipper allowance that is left on the waist area. From that point, I'll go out by half of my nipple to nipple measurement, which is 4 inches. I'll place my tape like this and I'll go down by 11 inches, which is 1 inch away from my bust point, and that is how long I want the dart for the back to be. I'll connect into a straight line. After doing that, I'm going to take half an inch on both sides of this straight line, and then I'm going to go ahead and connect. So guys, for the skirt part, I've gone ahead to cut out lining piece for all of them, the two back piece and the two front piece. So I went ahead to pin them down. So what I'll do is to go ahead and sew. Okay, I'll sew and I'll turn everything out through the waist area, and I'll go ahead and give it a good press. So go ahead and cut out your lining piece exactly as the main fabric. The only difference is the lining should be at least 1 inch shorter than the main fabric, just so you use it to turn it inside out. Okay, so after cutting my lining piece, I'm going to go ahead and pin all the way around, and I'm going to go ahead and sew. For this one on top that is going to overlap, I'm going to sew all the sides. Okay, I'll just leave a little bit of opening on the side to turn it inside out. So I've gone ahead to sew my lining piece to the main fabric, and this is what I have for the back. To take my dart, I'll first of all take out my zipper allowance. So I have 1.5 inches here as my zipper allowance. I'll mark that. Okay, after doing that, I'm going to now take half of my nipple to nipple measurement from that zipper allowance leg. So if you don't understand what I'm saying, just look at what I'm doing. So I'm placing my tape after the zipper allowance, and I'm going to take half of my nipple to nipple measurement, which is 4 inches. I'll indicate that. After doing that, I'll determine the length of my dart. So I want the length of this dart to be about 3 inches, so I'll connect like this. After doing that, I'm going to take half an inch on both sides of this straight line, and I'm going to connect. After connecting, I'm going to go ahead and sew my dart in place. So don't forget to take in your dart. The front does not have a dart, it's only the back. As you guys saw earlier in the pattern drafting tutorial, we added 1 inch on the waist area for our dart allowance. So guys, I'm going to go ahead and repeat the same thing for the other side of this back pattern. I'll take out my zipper allowance. From that point, I'll take half of my nipple to nipple measurement. I'll determine the length of my dart, and I'll take half an inch on both sides, and I'll go ahead and take in my dart. I've already gone ahead to do that, and this is what I have. And I also repeated the same process for the upper bodice. What I'm going to do now is to join the upper bodice and the lower bodice together. Okay, so make sure your dart is matching. So I'm going to go ahead and join the waist area using my half an inch allowance that I left. Okay, so for the front, I've gone ahead to sew it with my lining, and I turned it over. I also went ahead to give it a good press, and this is what I have, guys. So the next thing I'm going to do now is to join this also to the lower bodies. But before I do that, I'm going to join my skirt part together. So this is the one under the first part of the wrap skirt. I'm going to go ahead and bring in the second one, which is going to overlap it, as you can see. Okay, so before I join them together, I'm going to go ahead and sew my shiny bias, as you can see on the thumbnail. Okay, I'll sew my black shiny bias on this particular one that overlaps this one. So I'm using this bias. I got it for 150 per yard, and what I have here is 2 yards. So you're going to sew it however you want it. This is wide, and that's because I want it to be really visible, because this fabric does not really have black on it. So I'm going to place it like this, and I'm going to sew all the way around. You can also sew it in form of a bias to make it smaller. So what you do is sew it to the wrong side, and then turn it over to the right side and top stitch. But for me, I'm just going to sew 2 straight lines on the bias. As you can see, I've gone ahead to do that, and this is what I have. So I'm now going to join the 2 skirt parts together. So I'll bring back the other part of the wrap skirt. Okay, and I'm going to place this particular one on it, as you can see. After doing that, I'm going to join the hip area together first of all, just so it becomes one piece. Okay, I'll join the hip area together. After doing that, guys, I'm going to go ahead and bring in my upper bodice. Okay, and I'm going to place my upper bodice on the skirt part also. I'll pin all the way around. After pinning, I'm going to go ahead and sew. After sewing, guys, this is what I have. So you can see our dress is coming together gradually. So I joined the hip area, so we now have one piece. So guys, for the back, I've gone ahead to join the upper bodice to the lower bodice, and I also went ahead to fix my zipper, and this is what it looks like. Okay, so go ahead and fix your zipper to the back. Okay, after fixing my zipper, I sewed it all the way down because the back does not have a slit. Okay, we already have something that looks like a slit on the front, so there's no slit for the back. So this is what the front also looks like after joining the upper bodice and the lower bodice, so you guys can see what it looks like. Okay, what I'm going to do now is to join both front and back piece together, right side facing right side, and I'm going to use my measurement to shape it. After shaping, guys, I went ahead to iron and I turned it inside out. Okay, so all you have to do is to place your bust circumference on the bust area, your waist circumference divided by 2 on the waist area, your hip circumference divided by 2 on the hip area, and then you're going to shape the down. So guys, this is the fabric I'll be using for the sleeves, and the wideness is 30 inches. The length of these sleeves is about 5 inches. So what I'm going to do is to hem the two sides, and I'll also hem the base with half an inch. After doing that, guys, this is what I have. The next thing I'm going to do is to take the sleeves to the sewing machine, and I'm going to gather. Okay, I'm going to gather just like this. After doing that, I'll repeat the same thing for the other sleeves, and this is what I have, guys. This is what it looks like. So you can make the gathers as long as you want it. So I'm going to now fix this to the armhole area, not just the armhole area of the top. So go ahead and overlock the mouth of these gathers first before you join. So I went ahead to open up my armhole area, as you can see. So what I'll do is to go up from the base of this armhole area. I'll go up by like 3 inches because the sleeves on the thumbnail did not get to the armhole. Okay, so I'm coming down from the upper part of this armhole by 5 inches, so I'm left with 3 inches, as you can see. So I'm going to place my sleeves from this 5 inches mark that I have here. So I'll place it into the other side. I don't know if you look at the thumbnail, there's a way they place the gathers, and the gathers is not that full. So you can go ahead and do what you like on this sleeves area. So the same thing I marked here, I turned the armhole area over to the other side. I'm going to mark it just so I know where to stop when I start pinning. Okay, so I'm going to go ahead and place my sleeves from that 5 inches. Okay, right sides facing right sides, and I'm going to go ahead and pin to meet the 5 inches that I marked on the other end of the sleeves. So I'll try my best to explain this just so you guys are not confused. I'm pinning from this 5 inches now, and I'll slant this slit to the other side of the shoulder area. I'm not bringing it towards the armhole, I'm taking it backwards because that is how it looks like on the thumbnail, sorry. So I'm going to pin to the other side of the shoulder area, and then I bring it back to where I started pinning it from. I hope you guys are not confused. In case you don't understand what I'm saying, just follow what I'm doing, or you can just pin it to the armhole area and just sew it. It depends on what you want. So I'm going to go ahead and pin from these 5 inches. I'll slant the sleeves back to the other side of this shoulder area, especially on that area where I joined the shoulders together. Okay, I'll pin. After pinning, I'll keep pinning, and then I'll slant it back to the other 5 inches that I have on the other side of this armhole area. After doing that, I'm going to go ahead and sew, and I'll also repeat the same process for the other side. After fixing the sleeves in place, guys, this is what I have. So what I'll do is to overlock the fabric there. Okay, I'll just overlock it, and you can see what the shoulder area looks like. Because I went in a little bit, you can see how small it looks, and that is what you can see on the thumbnail. I'll go ahead and remove my pins. Okay, and you can see the little opening, the 3 inches that we left on the armhole area is still there. So guys, the last thing you're going to do is to fix a button to this wrap area to hold the wrap down. And yeah, that is all for this tutorial. I hope it was helpful. Don't forget to like this video, leave your questions in the comment section. Thank you so much for watching. I'll see you guys in the next one.